Oh,
You
no,
ready?
I already did.
We're already in.
Welcome everybody to Panfish Nation. Along with Mark, I'm Lyle.
What's up,
And
Lyle? How you doing, man? You almost caught me on that one.
I'm not asleep. I don't know what's going on with all that, but I'm wide awake tonight.
I did see that.
It rained all day, and we had some running around to do, so I didn't get to sit here and doze off. I
Uh,
missed
I don't
that
even. I don't even want to talk about rain, Lyle.
though.
Next week we got lots of rain. We got like 30 and 40% chance of storms up on Lake Mendota all week for the
Yeah,
most part. I think they keep changing it, so it's on and off, a day here, a day there. So we'll see what happens. We are camping, as you know. I know you're not going, and you will be
yeah.
missed.
I appreciate that. It just didn't work out this time. Too many other things going on, and I didn't get the boat done. That's the big deal. So,
Yeah, understandable.
and now it's raining down here, and I can't work on the damn thing. It
That's right.
rained here all day.
There's always next year, and we can always meet up sometime. Other than that, we got to get some photos so we can get some more thumbnails made up.
Yeah,
We got
you guys are not going to catch them all, and I know you won't catch that 30 of mine that's up there.
yeah. How dare you? How dare you? I thought you were my friend. I'm hurt. I'm triggered.
Well, I was including Chad in that.
Oh, okay.
He's not going to catch it either.
You know that Luke keeps saying he's going to catch that 30-pounder, so we'll see.
I didn't give him permission to catch it either.
He's got that jet boat, so I'll just bump up to him with my prop jobber and watch him, get him out of my spot. That's all.
Right.
Just get him to move. Play bumper boats for the spot I'm talking about too.
I do.
Mhm.
What do you say we welcome everybody into chat tonight,
I
Mark?
I can do that. There's 205 Wild Action in the house. Mr. Carmel Muncie. Fishing with Squirrel. What's up, Dawson? How you doing? Joe Buck 66. He's a channel member. Thank you for your support, Joe. Freddie's Outdoor Adventures. Freddie, I got your rod all ready to go for next week. Hopefully we put one of the big Mendota cats on there. I think I can do that if Lyle says it's all right. There's the troublemaker, James Albo. Joe Ziegler in the house. What's up, Joey Z? Nubby's Catfishing. There's P&B Catfishing, a.k.a. Paul Boyd. There's that Panfish Nation guy, Lyle Stokes. How you doing, buddy?
I'm
Troy,
good.
Real and Virtual Outdoors. Troy was playing video games today live like he does,
Mm-hmm.
which is always fun. I always stop in there while I'm working during the day, and he was cooking something. It wasn't very good.
Oh, yeah?
He was probably cooking maybe this much better than Jody, but he was trying. And it was a video game, so nobody actually had to eat it.
So you're saying Jody can't cook?
It's not a lick.
I didn't know.
There's Kenny Powell, take down catfishing. What's going on, Kenny? Miss Chrissy Brown, what's up, dear? How you doing, Chrissy?
She can cook.
Wabash Nate in the house. We had some other people come in. Let's see if I can pick them out. Joe, hey, KY Rednecks Outdoors popped in here. What's going on, folks? I think I got everybody. That they'll probably start showing up here in a minute. And I need to do something here. Look at this. I'm like freaking co-host on the show, and I'm even a member. Look at that. I've been a member for 1 month, Lyle.
Oh, thank you so much. We appreciate it. All of our members, we appreciate our members. It's awesome to have them. Shows that they really care about what we do, and that means a lot to both of us. And to have them as members.
100% it does. I was just kind of looking over here at chat. So, Lyle,
Yes, sir.
I was watching Ryan Hall, y'all, and you and I were up there in the years. I'm not even going to pretend that I'm not anymore. I'm done. I've given up. I've given up the ghost on trying to pretend I'm young because I'm not. So we like the weather, and I'm watching Ryan Hall, y'all, and he says May is going to be a horrible month for us, bud.
Why?
More me than you. Cold. He said cold all May. He says some Omega front is moving in.
What the hell? I never heard of that. That's a new one.
I don't know. It looks like something like the the two. It's like two cold fronts with a hot front in the middle, and it kind of looks like something that you would see at BDT company. That tackle company that Chad's sponsored by.
Yeah.
It looks like an Omega sign or like a bait from Balls Deep Tackle. I said it. I had to.
I love that place.
I got to get a T-shirt or something from there. Uh,
I got something new.
what do you got?
I showed to you all ago, but showed everybody else now. This is a new sinker I got from Brad Caudell. Got a box from him the other day, had a whole bunch of these in it. I have an idea, Mark, of a new fishing rig that I'm going to try these on. And if it works out, I'll let everybody know how we tie them up. You know, we done a show last week, Mark, about fishing rigs for panfish.
Mm-hmm.
That was very well received, and I'm glad everybody liked it.
I had fun.
We did have a good time doing it, and a lot of people enjoyed that. So we need to think of some more stuff like that to do. If you guys have anything specifically like that you'd like Mark and I to do for you, send us a message. Leave comments below in the below the videos when you're done watching them, either during or after, and of course I'll read them all. So we'll get back to you any way we can. But any ideas of something that you specifically want to see done, let us know. We'll try to make it happen for you. But I really do have an idea about these, and if it works out, I'll be bringing that to Panfish.
You know, those are typically used. The walleye guys use them for trolling, and the salmon guys use them for trolling. And I have no idea how they use them.
Well,
I
that's
imagine
not
it's to
how
get
I'm
bait.
going to use it.
I know how you're going to use them, and I'm not
Yeah,
going to tell nobody. We'll see
yeah,
how they work.
yeah.
But
I
I
think
think
it'll work out fine.
they'll work real well. But I honestly don't have any idea how those guys use them. So, anyways,
I don't
rod
either.
knockers. I don't think it's an Armageddon event. It's just going to be
Hmm.
cold and rainy this month for me.
Maybe we can get some of these walleye guys on here to tell us how to do it. I'm okay
There's an
with that.
idea.
You know, I caught about a dozen golden shiners yesterday. Going to try to get on a flathead tomorrow. Well, good luck with that. Um, there's nothing better than catching a big old flathead. And golden shiner is great bait for
You know, we have big golden shiners here that I catch at one of my spots.
them.
If I have a tiny hook on there, I can probably get a whole heck of a lot. But I can't keep the channel cats off of them with a stick. I couldn't beat them off of that bait.
Really?
Oh, they love them. They channel
Wow.
cats love them shiners. Same with bass. I catch a lot of smallmouth on them.
Now, how big
Big
are the
golden
ones
shiners.
you're catching? How big are the golden shiners you're catching?
They're like 8, 9 inches big.
Them are good ones.
They're pretty big. They're in a pond that nobody fishes for them. It's a
Perfect.
pond here right by my house where you got a bunch of these high school kids who come there and they're throwing wacky rigged Senkos and stuff all the time, and they're killing the bass over there, which is probably why they're so big because there's a big population of them shiners. But other than that, no one's fishing for them, so all they're there is breeding and feeding them bass. So
That's cool. That's way cool. I see Chad Fields has made it into chat. Welcome, Chadwick.
welcome, Chad.
Did you say hello to Paul Boyd earlier?
How you doing, Paul Boyd? I think I did.
I couldn't remember. 922 barbecue.
There's crew member Dan Thompson. We got to make sure we shout him out.
Absolutely glad to see Dan in here. He's been a member for a long time.
And hello, Rod Knockers. We did read his comment, but I don't. He wasn't. I don't think I read him out at the beginning. So,
Hey,
so
90% mode. I should have mowed today, but it was raining. So, you
what's
know,
up, 922? How you doing, bud? Yeah, I just mowed mine last week, and I made. I made the biggest mistake in the world, Lyle.
how's that?
I fertilized it.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I did.
Although I need to do something. I have something growing that's taking over my yard, and it's not grass. It's pushing the grass out. I don't know what it is, some kind of damn creeper weed or something.
I thought you were going to say a mole.
I got plenty of them damn things. But the reason I got them is because I got all the worms in my yard. I mean, that's why the moles are there, is because they got free meals. Um, Gigantic night crawlers. After it rains, you can go out and pick them babies up. I've told you about them.
Mm-hmm.
You watch them grow across your driveway, watch them go across the street in the yard. Just reach out, pick them up, and they're giants. They look like mini snakes. Um, but that's the reason I have the moles, is because they get them free meals off of them. So my neighbor tilled up part of his front yard and then re-sowed it, and grass had come up within a week. Looks beautiful. if I could get rid of the moles, I might do that to my front lawn.
Two Stans just joined us. What's going on, Stan? How
Hey,
you doing?
Stan.
And I know I've told you this, and I'm going to say it again because it's kind of important. If you're picking up worms and you're off your driveway or out of your front yard, don't put them in the fridge. You're just going to kill them. Put them in
And
a
I
cool
didn't understand that for a long time.
put them in a cool dark place, and they'll be fine. Those Canadian night crawlers you can keep in the fridge and they'll last a long time. Even the red wigglers and even wax worms that and the butter worms, but with those two, you're just keeping them from transforming. You're slowing them down. But other than that, if you're picking them up around the yard, don't put them in the fridge. They won't last as long. It's a cool, dark place, and that's all you got to do.
Before we get too far into what we're going to talk about tonight, Mark, I seen that Matt from Wannabe Outdoors had made a comment early before the show started about hoping our family stuff was getting better. I would like to let everyone know that their thoughts and prayers have made a difference. Cindy's sister, who wasn't doing very good at all, was in the hospital for 15 days, got out today. And we've been really worried about Pam. She had valves replaced in her heart at a very early age, 20s, I believe, and she's about a year and a half older than I am. And she's really been struggling the last couple of weeks and got to go home today, and the whole family is excited. And she's not out of the woods by no means, but she's doing great. And thank you guys so much for all that.
There's a comment right there. I scrolled back and found it. For a
Thank
second there, I thought you were going to say this comment here, Lyle.
No. But I seen one that Evan made after that where he slept through it.
Wait,
It reminded me of
I
me.
could find that one too. I think that was right there.
It reminded me of me.
Mm,
But I didn't sleep through anything tonight. Thanks, Kenneth. It really is great news, and they've had enough going on, and recently with you know deaths in the family and people being sick, and it's time for a break in the action for a little bit. Let everybody get healed up, and we're just going to keep flying and going. And if it quits raining, I'm going to Mark. I'm really close on my boat. I've
Let me know when it's done.
I've got batteries in it, and I've got 3 or 4 things to hook up to one of the batteries yet, and then put the carpet back on the floor. And that's going to about get it, other than take it to the water and give it a test run. But this rain's going to slow me down for a day or two.
Hey, look at that. Laura the Explorer's joined us, and she's been a member for 3 months. Thank you for your support, Laura.
Laura was one of the people that enjoyed last week's show so much. Thank you for watching it with us, Laura.
Yep.
Appreciate that very much.
She came in and she was all worried that she had missed it, and we were just getting started. So that worked out well.
It did work out good. I see she'd been fishing down on the dock with Tom and them, so I think they caught some pretty good fish.
Yeah, she whooped Josh's butt, that's for sure.
Well, there you go. Yep.
Man, the heat that's going on out there in chat.
Oh my, yeah.
Nubby says it was a great show, Freddie, till Chad showed up. My goodness. Be nice to Chad. I got to spend a whole week with him next week,
Heck yeah.
which I am looking forward to, rain or shine.
Absolutely, it'd be a blast.
Hey, there's Big Slim 91. How you doing, bud? So I've been in and out of this house quite a bit in the last couple of days, getting some stuff done for the trip and some other work related stuff. And I found a couple of new ponds I want to try, Lyle.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to them. So I need to do a little research. Also, I thought maybe we could talk a little bit about, I'm going to not just chase channel cats all next week. I'm going to try and break away and go after some bluegill and some crappie and hopefully some perch on the last day. Because if I catch some perch, I want to bring them home. And I don't want to have to fillet them and try to keep them, still top-notch quality all week. So I figure if I can get on them on the last day, I can. So I've been really kind of looking at like Navionics, been looking at Google Earth. What's up, Danny Stone?
Wore out the bluegills and greenies up there with them. Well, I'm glad to hear that, Danny. Thanks so much. Hope them squirrel-tailed ones caught you some fish.
I got my box, the Betty Jean collection, I believe. I got that. I'm gonna bring that with me. Been
I
looking
wanted
at
to talk a little bit about what you was going to try to catch while you was up there, because I know that you're not planning on just catching the channels. Like I said, you have a list of other fish that you're going to try to make an assault.
well, okay. First off, we're probably gonna need bait, or someone's gonna need bait, and that sounds like a great excuse for me to break away and try to find some bluegills. All
Right?
right.
Yeah.
Now that's just me making an excuse because I love going after them, and up there they got some big ones, Lyle. So I want to chase after some of them big ones. And my thinking is, I know a couple spots that looked like they would hold a lot of crappie this time of year when we were there last year. Also, I want to go after some perch just so I can bring them home and bring them to mom because she's kind of been wanting them. So that's what I'm doing, and I know where they're at on the ice up there, but I really don't have any idea where to catch them in the warmer months like the spring and summer and stuff. I have no clue. I'm not going to lie about that. So I've been doing a lot of research. I've come across a couple of trips that I want to take to chase them and walleye on the Mississippi River. I'd like to do that. We'll talk to Luke a little bit about that too. Maybe make a trip up there. So we'll see. That's not so far from my house. I can do day trips. I kind of don't want to spend too much time away from home and overnights and stuff, or as minimum as possible. So those are some ideas. Like I know Danny Stone's having a little meetup here next week, and that's like 7 hours. So that would be kind of a rough one to go the very next day. I think Chad's heading out there. Good
Yeah.
for
If
them.
I
I hope
was going to make that, I'd have to spend the night.
yeah, I hope that would be. I hope they have a good time and they get on a bunch of fish I'll be watching. So
I'd like to know how the water is up there, because I like to fish in that area really well. It's there's some great fishing over there.
I still don't have I have a reel. I do not have a rod, Matt. So he keeps giving me the business about not fly fishing. He wants me really to try fly fishing.
It's a very addictive. I'm just warning you up front.
I have enough. I've said this before. I have enough irons in the fire, Lyle, so to speak.
I know. I feel your pain.
And it's there's the heart's willing, but time doesn't allow always. So
Hmm. I got you covered.
he just keeps after me because I told him he looked like one of them ballet girls at the Olympics with the streamers.
Okay.
Sometimes I got to keep my mouth shut.
The 20th and 21st after Mendota. Some of us will be there on the 19th. Danny, how's the water over on the Mississippi? Is it high? Is it low? Is it about normal? Because right now it should be pretty high. I don't know if it is or not. I haven't been over to all across the Mississippi in some time. Although I'd sure like to fish it. I mean, I love fishing that river, especially down there because you're down below the last dam and it gets wild and woolly the further south you go. It's like the Missouri all the time.
On my bucket list, Lyle.
I got you, man.
On my bucket list.
I'm not to beat a dead horse to death, but I'm so excited to get I'm guessing that I have alleviated somewhere between 500 and 1,000 pounds of wet foam out of my boat. I didn't weigh it all, but I told you, and I'll tell the people that's watching tonight. We have the big blue dumpsters that you put your trash in. I filled that up twice with wet foam, and it's where they take the machine and dump it in the truck. It's broke the whole thing out. Where it's the weight was so much it broke the plastic that holds that thing together.
They'll give you a new one if you just call them, won't they?
I'm going to have to because
Yeah.
I'm afraid stuff's going to start falling out of it if I don't. But yeah, that was a lot of weight, and that's got to help me a little bit. So, and I don't have to worry about it sinking because it was so full, so heavy in the back of the boat that when we'd launch, a lot of time water would roll over the back of the boat because it was sinking so low in there. So this is going to be great. I'm excited about it.
Danny hasn't answered your question. He says it's about normal here, but we are heading up toward Parker, and God only knows what he's done to the river. Freaking Parker.
More true words may never have been spoken.
There's my buddy Tom LG Bass. He's watching while he's tying rigs,
Oh,
and
there
there's
you go.
and there's our friend Stephanie. What's going on, Stephanie? God's
Change
truck.
the name.
Um, it's what she does for a living, Lyle. You should know that.
Change her name.
No, in the cotton industry.
I know. So I think she done that a week or two ago.
Mm.
But back to what you're catching up there. Are you going to don't dedicate one day or more than one day to chasing alternative species?
It depends. And we can talk about that offline because I don't want to seem what's the word, so shallow on whether or not I take my attention away from Channel Cat,
Hey,
if you know what
Slick,
I mean.
welcome into chat, buddy. Glad to have you in here.
If I don't get a big one by the last day of the last day of fishing, I'll probably keep fishing for him. So we'll see.
Well, um, all, like I said, last year up there it was there wasn't as near as many giant fish caught as normal. I don't know if that was just a freak thing or whether they just started to go on spawn or just what the deal was. Always before there was numerous fish over 20s caught. Not that many last year. Uh, strange. I
I
thought it was strange.
I
So
got a few over 20. I got my PB of that 23 and a half, which is, I was real happy to see that fish. Um, but I did good. As you know, I'm the only one in my little boat fishing. So I only got like the 3 rods out, but I still got like 38 for the week last year. And the smallest one I caught was a 7 pounder, and everything after that was 14 or better. So
yeah,
I can't complain one bit whatsoever.
there's a lot of people that will fish their entire life and never even see a 14-pound channel cat
You know,
because
and
they're just not around anymore.
And here on the Fox, we got a lot of channel cats, but sizes there. A few people catch some big ones, like Redbeard setting hooks across an eyes. He's gotten a couple of real big ones out of there. I got now. I don't know if I'm going to count this for the Fox River, but okay, my Fox River PB on the actual river is 14 pounds. Okay, I've caught 5 of them at 14 pounds, Lyle. I
Yeah,
can't I
that's
can't get
great.
over that. I did get a 20 pounder on the chain, which drains down into the Fox, but I don't
Mhm.
consider that the river. And that was bycatch. I don't really count that either because I was fishing for walleye with a blade bait when I caught that fish. So
Danny, you're correct, and the numbers that Cindy and I caught last year's astronaut. We caught and we never fished a whole day. We was going in early because of the temperature was pretty high, and I had a couple things I had to do to the boat. One day I had to put an ignition switch in it because it froze up. But we caught over 80 fish. That's a lot of fish. So I can't complain about that. And I don't remember the exact number, but it was a lot. Stephanie says I'm ready to get my personal best pike. Well, I
there
hope
you
you
go.
do. I hope you do.
She's just trying to hurt Danny's feelings again.
Oh, 922 says, I thought you was a gar girl, Steph. Well, I know for a fact she has caught a few gar.
Just a few.
That's not really something that high on my priority list.
You know, and if I get it, I think the pike up there, the size limit's up there, if I'm not mistaken. Like, isn't it like 40 inches in order to keep? I
I
wouldn't
don't
keep
know.
one
It's
that.
way big. You got to get a real good one to be able to keep it.
When I was up there crappie fishing, I got that 32-inch northern when I was up there. I don't think it has the same size limits on Monona. I don't know. I should have checked because
Hey,
I'd have kept
Josh.
that. I'd have kept that and I'd have eaten that sucker. It'd have been on my dinner table.
Yeah, I know. I've never ate a pike. Um, some people say they're really good. Others say not so much. But that's with everybody with different kinds of fish. But Well, that's both very doable, Chad.
It is very doable.
Both very doable. But I've never had a pike. This is kind of like the perch. I've never had one of those, and
Chad, just put a piece of cut bait under a float on a J hook, and you'll get that pike. Because they don't do very well with circle hooks. You'll catch them on a circle hook, but you won't do as well if you're not using them. So
that's what I caught mine on last year. And that's the only pike I ever caught, and I hope I don't never catch another one.
I only know that from experience because was using floats here locally, and I kept getting hits and losing a fish, hits and losing a fish, hits and losing a fish, and finally I got upset. I'm I actually sent a message to Spencer over at River Certified through Facebook. I'm like, man, what am I doing wrong with these Whisker Seeker floats? He's like, well, what do you mean? I keep getting hits. I keep getting hits. I keep getting hits. I go, I'm using circle hooks. He says, well, I never use circle hooks under them. So I switched it over to a J hook and boom, I got me a nice northern pike on there. So
there you go.
That's how I learned that's the way to do it.
Crappie Dave Fish On says pike is tasty but bony. Can you cut the bones out when you're filleting them?
You got to do the 5 fillet method. Basically, you cut like the whole back of it off. That's one fillet. And then underneath the Y bones, you fillet there right past the belly. You get 2 more fillets, one off of each side. And then right by the flute, you leave like a 1-inch gap or a 1/2-inch gap, depending on the size of the fish, and you get 2 more fillets right near the tail. So if you do it that way, or if you take the whole sides off of them and you skin them and you cut them into smaller pieces and you pickle them, then the bones get dissolved. So
Dee says 40-inch to keep a pike up there. Hers was 36-inch.
Yep, I remember.
Pike's a big fish, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a big fish. It's a fun fish to catch. I remember Dee catching it. I was in that bay when she caught it too. That was a heck of a fish.
I would have liked to seen them fingers burst into flame. Tell me that wouldn't be entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be like the devil went down to Georgia on a fiddle. Except on a keyboard. 40-inch pike. That's a big one. I'm going to guess. I don't know because I didn't measure, but I'm going to guess the one I caught was probably 24-inch. I didn't consider it very big at all, but it was. I mean, it was a pike, so I never caught one. So I can write that off.
Oh, there we go. The first time that I ever had northern pike, I was up at Land O'Lakes, Wisconsin, a place called Jack's Resort. I don't even know if it's still open. I'm sure there's still a resort there. It's probably under some other name. But we had a shore lunch with that, and it was probably the best tasting fish at that time that I've had in a long time. It's that good. So
very nice.
And Stan is saying that too. He says pike family are awesome tasting fish. They're right behind yellow perch to me for taste. Hey, look at that. There's son number 4. It's almost time. We'll see you next week, friend. How did Mark get my nickname? You just type it in there.
That's right.
He's saying, I got Mr. Channel Cat left in there from a live chat that I was in the other day. I forgot to take that out.
James Allball says he never caught one of those pikes. Well, they're pretty slimy. I got a message from one of your brothers.
And
it's fish and hush puppies.
Oh, sounds tasty.
That's what I'm thinking. It didn't offer me none.
I think, I'm going to 2 fish fries next week, Lyle.
Nice.
One that's our sister's going to cook for us, and the other one's going to be the party that they have up there every year. So that ought to be fun.
Yeah, I very disappointed that we didn't get to make it this year, but just things didn't work out, and it doesn't always. So we just got to deal with it and go on. I was a little butthurt, but I want the boat to be perfect before I make a trip like that and not have to be dicking with it the whole time I'm up there. So there'll be next year, and things will get lined out. Like I say, you and Chad and Luke are not going to catch all them fish in that lake, so I'm not worried about it.
Challenge accepted.
And you're not going to catch the 30. So,
oh my goodness! Look who's upset about not going. Let's see in chat. Who thinks that Lyle's a little butthurt? Let's see.
I am.
You're going to get pictures of every darn fish we catch while we're there.
and I'm okay with that.
What
Hello,
are
Luke.
you doing here?
How are you?
I'm just hearing Lyle talk shit. I don't like it.
You can do that when you don't get to go and nobody can prove you wrong. Oh man, how you doing, buddy?
Oh, good. I was out fishing after work today and didn't catch anything. So I'm building a website now. Trying
Oh
to.
well, if it's got to be one of us, I'm glad it's you and not me. Thank
Yeah.
you, Betty. I wish we could come and I talked Cindy into making some potato salads. I'll eat your share. Ben's, we're not going to be there.
So you're not coming at all, huh?
No, I'm not going. I haven't got my boat done, and it's
He's
raining.
afraid.
Yeah, I'm scared.
Can't be scared, Lyle. You just
I
got
know.
to do it.
Oh man. Oh. Luke, you know I didn't say that, right?
I figured you didn't.
Uh,
We all know the truth, Chad.
that's right.
So I still have that pickled pike recipe you gave me, Luke, that I'm dying to try. So if I can get on one here soon, I'm gonna have to try it. So
Yeah, it's good. It's really good.
so how's rods and reloads coming?
Pretty good. First video, Tara did a really good job editing it.
I saw that. It was a fantastic video. She did a great job.
I
It's
think
about time you got some talent in that operation of yours.
I think the new drone was a big bonus for what we're going to be doing.
Yeah, just don't chop your head off next time instead of your finger.
Or run it into a brick wall.
It's finally healing up pretty good. It was rough.
Maybe Chad will give it a kiss for you.
Yeah, probably not. I doubt it.
So when are you coming up next week?
Wednesday.
When I'll have that 30 by then.
Yeah, probably not. It's waiting for me.
Nice. Leave my fish alone. I got really close. 29.9 is pretty close, but it just, unless it says 30 point whatever, it's not a 30.
That's true.
It never will be. So unless it's growed and I catch it again.
I'd like to catch it again. That'd be
Yeah.
nice.
So I've heard like rumors that the ice fishermen guys hate those channel cats so much they just leave them on the ice up there. Is that true?
Yeah, it used to be a lot bigger problem though. I don't think it's quite as bad now.
Oh,
Well, that's good.
I'm glad I never heard that before because I would have probably raised hell about it.
Yeah, people
Hear
used to
things
do
like
that.
because they got such an outstanding fishery in that lake that they should respect what's there. And you know, even the carp, my God. They got a healthy of everything. They got it going on. Peter Piper picked a pickled
What the hell?
pike.
So I hear you guys had a big party over there at Carver last weekend. How'd that go?
That was good. Did my first seminar for flatheads. That was fun.
Yeah.
It went pretty. It's 45 minutes long. It wasn't crazy long, but it went good. And my Vikings player buddy came and he took a bunch of pictures with people and signed autographs for the kids and some adults. And my family showed up surprisingly. My parents drove from like 3 hours away to come surprise me. I didn't know they were coming. My sister was there. My uncle was there. My cousin was there.
I didn't know you had a sister.
I got two.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Two brothers and two sisters. I'm the youngest.
If you're a smart brother, you keep that stuff quiet from your friends because never a good thing when they know you got a sister.
It's okay. She's married very happily.
Okay, well that's good.
I just didn't know you. I didn't know. I'm shocked.
One's my stepsister and one's my real sister, and I have
Doesn't
one.
matter. They're sisters.
Yeah, one's my real brother and one's my stepbrother.
Still.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my sister lives by like 15, 20 minutes from me, so pretty close.
Very nice.
So what'd you fish for?
Her fishing.
Say that you guys both said something. What was that?
I said, how come you never take her fishing?
She doesn't fish.
Huh.
Her
And she's a
husband doesn't
Hinges?
fish either. Yeah, but she just doesn't. She does her own thing. She's got kids. She's got 16-year-olds, and
That
her
right
and her
there.
husband have season tickets to the Vikings and the Twins, so they're always at different games.
Wonder how she likes it when the Cardinals go up there and spank them Twins.
Cardinals, is that a team or
Never
Seven
heard.
seven World Series champions.
Never heard of them. Is that what the women's league or what?
Yeah, I think that's the WNBA, the Cardinals. I
Ah,
think
I got you.
wimpy red birds.
The way they're playing this year, I can't say much about it. I mean, they're horrible, horrible, but they're still my Cardinals.
So, what'd you fish for after work today, Luke?
uh Whatever would eat my worm, and then it just wasn't good.
What'd you do? Just good old night crawler and jig head?
Nightcrawler with a little Carolina rig with a little J hook on there, small one.
Yeah.
So
little,
did you catch all your bait from Mendota already?
I haven't even started.
You and Chad.
But I have this thing called a key to the bait shop, and we have a lot of suckers. So
I heard you guys have suckers there. You actually and bullheads too.
not right now, but
Oh well, I mean, can you guys sell bullheads up there?
yep.
Wow. For a state that has some weird laws about one fishing rod being used and you can't do this, you can't do that, but they'll allow you to sell bullheads across the counter. That don't make sense to me.
Yeah, as long as they're not from an invasive waterway, and I don't know, but I'm happy that I don't ever really take bullheads from the shop. I usually get my own, but suckers I'll take sucker. We took suckers from no we
They
didn't.
the big ones.
We can't transfer bait across state water. We didn't do that last year.
No, gotcha.
Yeah.
You got the big suckers though.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody's going up to Mendota, including you, Luke, and they need a place to get some suckers, I got a pin I can shoot you that's cheap as hell, and it's connected to a Shell and a Taco John. You can get lunch and bait at the same freaking time.
In the town?
Right past the town from the way you're coming. So
Oh, okay. Perfect. Well, that's good to know.
they're relatively cheap too. I'm always pretty surprised because they charge up. When every now and then I'll hear guys. Well, I used to buy suckers for flathead fishing. I don't anymore. But they were charging up near $8 a sucker for them musky suckers down here.
Wow.
Yeah, if we go it's not super cheap at the bait shop, but it's pretty reasonable. But Fleet Farm kind of screws us over because they sell $6 a dozen for suckers regardless of size. So you can literally get 6-foot-long decoy suckers for $8.
That's what that one pin I was telling you about on the way to Mendota's like. It's they got a whole bunch of sizes in there. You just got to pick through them. There's some big ones in there too.
Right.
The bigger they are, the more chunks you get.
I think suckers. The guy here at the bait shop sells them, and the ones that die, he freezes for me. He sells them to me for $1. Like we're talking like 6 to 8 inches, and you can cut little coins in them, and that works great for channel cats. It's probably the best frozen bait as far as I'm concerned for channel cats. That is,
And they're real oily.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. I was at the Polish deli this week, and I walked by a big barrel of pickled herring. I was thought about getting a couple of them to bring them up there with me.
Was you going to eat them or use them for bait?
Well, probably both. They weren't pickled; they were salted, so they probably would work.
I would imagine.
I almost said a inappropriate joke, but I'm glad I didn't.
I have
Wouldn't be the first time.
no. I have a problem catching suckers of any size down here. I don't know if we just don't produce them in my area of the big, large ones, or whether something happens to them before I get them, because I can't never find them. You know, if I get one that's 10 inches long, that's a giant down here, and most of them are 6, 8 inches.
So we're lucky here. We got silver red horse, red horse. We have white suckers, and the red horse they're all average like 3 pounds. So I mean they're freaking big.
Now,
I've seen an 8-pound red horse, which is technically an Illinois state record. But before we figured out it was an Illinois state record, my buddy cut it up for bait. Whoops.
Well, we can go down on the James River in Missouri that dumps into Table Rock Lake, and they have sucker days in Nixa, but they uh, spear them from the bank and out of boats and stuff, and they have sucker days and they cook them up. I'm not a big fan. They're edible, but that's about it. But I never could get enough of them that I consider worth going down there because it's a long drive to fish for them and use them for bait. Now, if I could get a hold of some of them guys that stab them, they could stab me up some and freeze them. I'd be gold because them red horse get bigger than the regular creek suckers.
Mm-hmm.
I was at one of my chub spots last week looking for bait, and it's right next to a bar here in town. And the owner comes out. He's like, "Mark, what are you doing?" I'm like, I'm looking for bait." And he's like, "You should have been here last week. There was thousands of suckers in this little creek right next to the bar." I'm like, "You got to be kidding me." He says, "Nope." And he showed me a picture. I'm like, "Oh my God, there wasn't a darn chub to be found or a sucker to be found." And a week later, they're gone.
Wow.
Yeah, they do their spawn run and they leave.
Yeah.
Is that will they go up or down river to spawn?
Upriver.
Upriver? For what? Is there they looking for a certain area to spawn?
Shallow gravel, shallow sand.
It's exactly what this little creek. The creek's not 12 feet wide. He says they were just packed in there.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
That's awesome.
So I screwed the pooch on that one. That'll happen. But the weather's been so messed up this year. Do you guys still got ice on the water or what?
A lot of the lakes up north do.
They do?
Really? Wow. Is the
Not
snow
here.
melt done?
Yeah, we don't have any snow. My parents just had the last little bit of snow melt today. So, yeah, it takes a while. It was a weird one. And fishing openers next weekend here. So,
What, you know what? Explain that to me. What is a fishing opener? We don't have them here. You can, we got certain waterways you can't fish for, let's say, for smallmouth until June 19th, like from middle of April till June 19th. I don't know about the start date, but I know June 19th is the start date for smallmouth.
all right.
But other than that, they're really, other than slot limits, creel and size limits, we don't have any quote unquote opening days. How does that work?
Minnesota closes all bigger fish minus rough fish. So they close bass, muskie, walleye, and pike towards the end of the winter. And you can keep fishing panfish for all year. And then they close them down so the pike and walleye can spawn and the muskie can spawn. And the bass start to spawn a little later. But then they have fishing opener, which means you can fish for walleye, pike, and bass, but you can't keep bass. Bass used to not open until 2 weeks after a fishing opener, but now they made it so you can catch and release on fishing opener for bass. So you can start. It's pretty much walleye and pike open on fishing opener, and bass for catch and release, and then bass keep starts 2 weeks after that. Then muskie's a ways after that. Muskie's doesn't open for a while.
The only openers we have down here is when trout season opens up first part of March.
Flathead opens April 1st every year.
Well, what are they? Are they biting then?
Nope.
That's what I was thinking.
But it's open.
Is it like combat fishing, like opening day of like stock or trout season down here?
What do you mean?
Well, is everybody and their brother out on the water? Are you like elbow to elbow fishing with everybody?
They are down here.
We have 10,000 lakes, so you can kind of pick and choose.
Yeah, but 900 million people.
Well, we only sell about 1.5 million licenses. So, I mean, and that majority of those people are ice fishermen, not summer fishermen. And another majority of that is the accessible shore spots, like river spots where there's like discharges, where a lot of people can drive to easily and fish from shore, or shore spots along a lake, people catch fish. Those places are busy, but if you're not fishing like the big lakes like Minnetonka or Mille Lacs, it's not that busy at all. No.
How far is Mille Lacs from you?
About 2 hours.
That's kind of a bucket list place for me too.
For which species?
Any. I just like to fish it sometime. I've watched the guys. on TV fish it for years and years and years. I just thought it'd be a cool place to go.
Yeah, it's tough to fish. I'll tell you that.
Well, that's why I'd stop and pick you up on my way.
It's tough. It's really tough.
That's a
But
huge lake, isn't it?
it's a giant lake. It's 40 miles, and you can't see across it. But giant smallmouth, giant muskie, giant pike, and starved decent walleye.
What about crappie?
You don't go out there to crappie fish.
Is Mille Lacs where they have those green walleye up there?
No, that's Winnipeg.
Winnipeg, okay.
They call them greenbacks.
Greenbacks, that's it.
Yeah, we don't get that green hue like they get up on the Red River, like Winnipeg.
I know when walleye season warms up north of me here that the rivers are packed with people too. It's like bumper boats going down the river. Everybody's drifting down river, so it's kind of like a drunken ballet. Everybody's got whiskey throttle too. That's always a problem.
Yeah, not here. It's the 4th of July is way worse. But our river doesn't really get. If you go to like the Croy or where the Mississippi goes into the Croy, in that part of the Mississippi, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Or like the lakes that are Prior Lake, Lake Minnetonka, White Bear Lake. I mean, there's 500 boats out there around that time of the year. I mean, but any of these smaller lakes, especially where I fish on the river, some days I don't even see a boat. So
that's the advantage between so many bodies of water to fish and population not being as crazy in your area. I'm guessing, or am I wrong? How far are you outside of Minneapolis?
about 25 miles, no, 35 miles.
Oh, so you're close. You're closer than I am to Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, we have 3 major waterways to catch walleye and catfish. We have the Croy, St. Croix River, which is a very famous river, and then we have the Mississippi and the Minnesota. So, I mean, you can pick your poison, you know? And our state record flathead came from the St. Croix River, but it's just so not a lot of fish in the St. Croix, but they're all big.
922 Crappie Barbecue says, so how's that work? I fish for crappie, bass hooks up, he gets fined.
No, you just can't. If you're throwing a freaking chatterbait during crappie season with bass closed, you're getting a ticket. If you're crappie fishing with a crappie minnow or a crappie jig and you catch a bass, that's a whole nother story. But you got to release it. If you're intentionally targeting the species, people try to do this accidental shit all the time in Minnesota. I'm going to go channel catfish when sturgeon is closed because sturgeon closes and channel cat never closes. And people try to get the sturgeon while they're running up to spawn up on the Croy. And they get these 60, 70-inch fish and they're catfishing with a night crawler on the bottom when they would never do that. And like we had the season used to only be about 2 months long. We got it to 10 months. And people still want to mess around and go grab them on their way to spawn. It's just like, let them be, man. But what do you do, you know?
That's it. There's people that's going to do that, just like the guy in Iowa that catches all them flatheads during the wintertime. We know what he's doing, Luke. We know what he's doing.
We 100%.
They don't do anything to him, so there's no sense of getting bent about it because he's going to keep doing it.
Right. You're right about that.
I had one guy message me. We're not going to name any names, and he's like, "My best flathead time of the year is in the winter for me. I got this one spot where I just fish there and drift right over it, and I catch it one after another." I'm like, "Yeah."
Tell me who that is. Just message me.
Pleasure boater season's coming up, folks. Get ready.
Getting rough in chat tonight.
Yeah, he was fishing spots like this. That's where he was dragging his baits.
Yep.
If you guys don't know what that is a pile of wintering 40 and 50-pound flathead catfish.
Just laying there.
Just stacked on top of each other, not moving.
And if you watch the videos, they run the bait with fish over top of them, up and around their mouth.
Brian bounces baits right on their mouth, and they don't even give a shit about it.
They don't care one bit. Yeah.
Zero.
They're like zombies.
They don't.
Sometimes they'll move positions and like move a foot just to stop being annoyed by the bait in their face.
The thing is, they feed up before winter, and when they come out when the water warms up, they're real skinny. They didn't eat all winter. That's why they're so skinny.
I mean, but in reality, they're more skinny post spawn than they are from
Exactly,
wintering.
but they spent all their energy.
Yeah, they conserve pretty well. Those flatheads
Well,
are. Well,
you
if you catch a
remember when you
flathead,
was
like,
young, you know.
yeah, I know what you're saying.
Oh man, yeah, I resemble that.
Frank says, my pet peeve is flatheads under the ice. I know
Yeah.
there's a couple of videos that I've seen where it's happened. I don't know what to think about that. So
Yeah.
That dumbass from over by you catching
by
all
me,
those
which one?
flatheads.
He ain't by me.
He's by you, isn't he?
No.
You know who I'm talking about?
I'm pretty sure I know who you're talking
I
about.
thought he was from there.
No, we'll talk after the show. I don't think it's who you think it is. 922 says, I was just curious because I catch a lot of bass on micro cranks while crappie fishing.
Well, if you're in a micros, they're not going to get you for bass fishing.
But you still can't keep them.
Correct.
You still got to throw them back.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, if you're just interested in catch and release anyhow, it doesn't make any difference.
I agree.
I agree.
2 lines going to be passed in here real soon, I think.
2 what?
2 lines.
Oh, good. I hope they do because I know that'll help you when you're out flathead fishing at night in the summertime.
Now,
yeah.
do you
Strange.
guys have guys who use bank lines and trout lines up there?
No, it's illegal.
It's illegal. Okay.
I wish it was like that here.
You have to tend your line.
So they can't do it at all.
Oh no, hell no.
That's
If
awesome.
we see a bank line, we tear it out and throw it away, and it's super illegal. We've seen a couple that people do illegally. There's people that come from other countries that don't know it's illegal too. And then when we tell them like you can't set those lines or let them know, or we'll just if we see any bank line or anything like that while we're fishing. I've only seen 2 ever in like 10 years. So
Wow.
but if
I
we
see them quite a bit here, and they get dealt with pretty severely around these parts, and it's legal to be honest with you. But the regular sport fishermen don't stand for it. So
Yeah,
that happens a lot everywhere.
if we see one, we'll either call it in and have a camera put on it to see who did it, or we'll rip it up and send her home. I don't have a problem with that.
One of the things that I don't like about Missouri is they promote that because they think it's a natural thing for people to go out. They even have classes on that, and I understand a lot of people enjoy that. And jug fishing is one of the best ways in the world of getting kids interested in fishing. It really is because it's fast action, and you can use hot dogs for bait and catch all the little channel cat and little blues that you want, and that's fine. But when they're running lines, where's the game wardens when they harvest every fish that they catch? That's
Right.
the issue I have. They don't get checked. They don't get fined. They just keep them and put them in their boat. It's like commercial fishermen from Illinois coming to Missouri because we got all the ramps and they harvest all them fish in Illinois. They're on an honor system. They just fill out a piece of paper and say, I caught this many fish today. Who checks them? Nobody.
It's
That's bullshit.
I haven't told a lot of people this story, but when I caught my big blue cat, we were literally sitting next to like 10 bank lines in the water where I caught my fish.
That's awesome.
And then they came like literally 15 minutes after we released my fish,
Check them.
and they said, "How you guys doing?" I had such a hard time just saying, "I caught a big bastard next to your
If you
trout
had
line."
it, you would have just lifted. This is what you guys want. You can't get.
Yeah, but yeah, their lines were not in the right place for that fish. But yeah, then we were watching them pull them in. They didn't have anything on.
Yeah.
Good.
It's just like anything else. If you don't know how to do it, you're not going to be successful at
Right.
line fishing or bank fishing or limb lines or any of that stuff. You have to really know what you're doing to be successful. And so many of them's not. They hear these stories or see videos of these guys going out and get 8 or 10 big flatheads a night. There's a few people that actually do selective harvest on trout lines and stuff. A friend of mine that lives up north Missouri, commercial fisherman, throws back a lot of big flatheads. He releases them on videos.
That's how you should be when you're doing
The
that
small
shit.
ones. The boys up in Iowa used to make videos. You got some of their rods, Mark. Mud bums.
Mm-hmm.
I knew them guys. Went up and helped them open their store. We done live videos up there and stayed up there all day and had a great time with those. They release big fish. They
There's
harvest
a
small
there's a
fish. That's
lot
called
of
harvest, and that's the way it should always be.
rivers are proof that if you're continuously we talked about this in our meeting with our biologist, that if you're continuously keeping big fish out of a section of a river, that section of a river might be shit for like 20 years unless they control
That's
it.
right.
And people like, oh, it's legal to do that. That doesn't make it right.
No,
Right.
it
It
doesn't
doesn't
make
make
right
it
just because it's
productive too.
legal.
No, and there's not a lot of 40 plus inch flathead catfish in a mile of river. It's just not. So in the Minnesota, we have, for our nets reports last year, we have 50 flatheads over 34 inches every mile of river on the Minnesota, which is pretty healthy population. We can only keep 1 over 24 inches.
Same here on the Fox. We got a slot. We got 2 unders and 1 over.
Yeah, we got 2 total. You can only keep 2 flatheads and only 1 over 24. 6 total combination with channel cats, and you can only have 1 over 24 channel cat as well. But you can't have more than 2 flatheads. So we're actually going to be splitting those fish into separate categories. That's what's going to be happening here this year.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about it in the workshop, and I think that's what everyone kind of wanted to do was split channel cats and flatheads. So if you want to keep 6 flatheads or 6 channel cats and a flathead, you can. So we're kind of giving the fishermen a little bit more, and we're separating the species, which will also make it easier to regulate the limits on those fish in the future too.
Here's the thing that people forget. Blue catfish travel thousands of miles, hundreds of miles on a pretty steady basis, but thousands of miles in their lifetime. They're big travelers. They go up and down the Missouri and into the Mississippi and down below Memphis and back. No telling how many times in their lifetime. A flathead catfish average never goes over a mile from the place it was born. They don't travel like blue cats do.
Well, they travel a lot here for wintering.
Well, they might for wintering, but as a general rule, Missouri done studies on that, and they could tag them, and they was never over a mile from where they was at.
Once they're in their summer spot, they don't really go very far.
That's it.
We had a flathead. We had telemetry, and we put a telemetry tag in a flathead. It went all the way down the Minnesota River, like 40 miles, and through 2 lock-in dams every single year.
Wow, that's amazing.
Isn't it a flathead? That's crazy.
That's crazy.
My favorite story is the Missouri Department of Conservation tagged a blue cat between Chillicothe and Kansas City. And this was several years ago. 3 years later, it was caught below Memphis, Tennessee. Went down to Missouri, into the Mississippi, and down below Memphis and was caught. And my question wasn't that it traveled that far, because everybody knows they travel a lot. It's how many times did it make that trip? Once, twice, 3 times, 5 times? Who knows?
I always wondered. We stocked blue catfish in Minnesota 35 years ago, maybe, or so.
Did they survive?
We don't know. We never got one in a net ever in the river. The DNR never netted one, and no one ever reported catching one. I always wondered if those fish died and they were stocked in the sun, or they went down, and people have been catching them down.
That would be my guess. I think it's too cold for them up there.
Probably like a Illinois resident that makes it down to Florida. They ain't leaving.
Yeah, I would really like to fish the Iowa-Minnesota border for like a month straight, 12 hours a day, to see if I can maybe pull a blue cat. But I know catching one above Keokuk's not very common.
No,
so
happens.
I just don't know if it'd even be worth trying, because you'd have a state record if you catch a blue cat. So anyone,
I think you're right. Yeah. I've never heard of one caught above the Keokuk Dam.
Yeah, people
because
said that
commercial
too.
Guys got them all out years ago.
Yeah,
and I've never heard of one caught above there. Giant channel cats, big channels, lots of flatheads.
922 says I like jug lining. I don't. if you check lines regular a lot, fish are fatally injured. So those fish have to be harvested. Jugging,
Correct.
you ain't leaving those jugs for 24 hours. Yeah, you need to keep them. Definitely keep it
Yeah, I
high
don't like
on
the
them.
fact that if you're fishing for something and you get a chance of catching a 50-pound fish, this is just me personally. If you're fishing away for a 50-pound fish that could potentially kill it, and obviously the best way to do it is not fish at all. I mean, when it comes down to it, it's the safest way to keep a 50-pound fish alive. But if you know that you might, if you're not going to be checking your lines and that fish gutted that hook and ripped its guts apart, and that's bullshit as a sportsman.
I agree.
That's bad.
There's a spectrum of anglers everywhere. There's guys out there that only fish for food, and they don't overfish. That being said, and there's people that only sport fish, and then there's all the people that are in between. You got to find a happy medium. You got to keep everybody happy.
So
As crappy as it makes some people, feel. So
when you jug fish, do you watch them the whole time?
I do.
I've never been jug fishing.
It's a
I'd be
lot of
lying
fun.
if I said I didn't want to try it.
I take my kids when they was little, and you put hot dogs on them and night crawlers and stuff like that. You're not after giant fish. You're after hot action to keep those kids entertained, so they're not sitting there playing on a phone or reading a book or whatever it is kids do. Uh, and the bite's hot. You just let it float. You just float along with it. And when the fish gets on one, you go pick it up, let them pull it in. And if it gets off, big deal. There'll be another in 5 minutes.
Right.
Very much fun. It's a blast to do. Kids love it. And like I say, you could go pick up a package of hot dogs and bait all
I'm
of
gonna
it.
jug line in the slough this weekend.
What's that?
I'm gonna jug line in the slough.
Okay.
I don't know. Can you do that in Wisconsin?
I would
I
say
don't know.
probably not. I, I, I think it'd be funny if you did.
Can you? You can noodle in Wisconsin.
Can you really?
Shoot,
2 years.
you can bow hunt flathead here in Illinois.
You can bow hunt channel cats and where we catch channel cats too.
That's
Yeah.
unbelievable. Unbelievable.
A lot of those guys we were talking to say they try not to shoot those.
Yeah, Illinois bow fishing flathead's the dumbest thing I ever heard of.
They just
And
passed that here in the last 2 years too.
I remember when they passed it, I was supposed to have the lady on that was over top of the fishing department, and she after they passed that, she wouldn't come on our show. Would not come on and she asked if we, and I told her what we was going to talk about, and she said, "Sorry, I can't do it." So okay, I don't blame you because I'm going to light you up like a late 8-day clock,
Yep.
and I would have too. No jug fishing in Wisconsin that I know of, says Lance McCoo guy.
He lives there. He would know.
Yeah, I would think so.
I wouldn't actually do it, but it'd be kind of funny to watch a jug float around with a big channel cat on it.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody watch my floats float around.
I mean, I can just throw a bobber and get the same thing, I guess.
Yep, last year all my floats that I was using kept popping off, and they was floating all over the lake.
I'm just excited to night fish because nobody else does it. So
And
Yeah,
I
we've
don't
been
understand
fish the
why.
last 2 years we've been there. What are you talking about?
out at night,
Yeah.
you're fishing in the pond at night, though.
No.
Where do you fish?
I'm talking about at Mendota.
Yeah, we didn't see any boat last year when me and
We
Tara
were
were
we
out.
were there. I'm not going to name any spots. Maybe when we talk in person, I'll tell you. But
Were you in the transitional spot?
yes,
Yeah, that's the place to night fish.
yeah. There's another spot by a hotel too that's pretty good too.
Yeah.
Hmm. Hey, if it rains all day, I'm fishing all night.
That's what I said too. I got a Bimini. I got a lot of drone shots I want to get, but if it's gonna be raining, I ain't flying my drone.
No, I wouldn't either.
I'm just gonna be hovering over all you guys, checking out what you guys are doing over
See
there.
what 8-ounce sinker does to a drone.
Oh, I'll go way higher than you can go, and I'll put it in zoom mode, and you're done.
Well, there's never mind.
You won't even hear it. You won't even see it or hear it.
Is it a real quiet?
It's quiet when it's up 300 feet and I'm zoomed in.
Oh, okay. Very good. Very good. Didn't know you'd got a new one, but I'm glad for you.
Yeah, I needed one.
You need to bring it down. Let me fly it.
Yeah,
I
let
don't-
Lyle fly it.
I don't think so.
Come on, son.
No. If there's no, it's a very smart drone, so you could fly it, but
I wouldn't bet on that.
no, you could definitely fly it.
Hey, so if you're heading down the river, can you set it to follow you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
That would be cool. Yeah.
But when I'm doing like reverse shots, like when the boat's chasing the drone and I'm facing backwards, I'm flying it when it does that.
Okay.
I can have it circle continuously. I can have it like stay in one spot and follow the boat to give it a different kind of shot. It'll literally do anything you tell it to do. I don't think you can hit it. It's too fast.
I had a guy tell me when I was trap shooting all the time that he was a golfer, and I said, "Hell, I'll tell you what I'll do. We'll sit out there, and you can tee off a golf ball, and every time I hit one, you give me $1, and every time I miss, I'll give you 10." And he went up and watched me shoot one day, and he wouldn't do it. And that would be, you ought to try that sometime. Hit a golf ball off a tee when somebody whacks at it. Maybe he'll cook it out of there.
They're fine.
He said he figured he was running 60. I said, well, them trap throwers that I shoot, they throw them birds out there at 65 and 70 mile an hour. So 60 is not. They're just
if
smaller.
he's only hitting the golf ball 60 miles an hour, he needs to work on his swing. We'll just
Well, he's no man.
Oh, okay.
He was an old guy. He just couldn't believe that you
Using
could.
a 9-iron.
I don't know nothing about golf. The only thing I know about golf is I think it's the most boring damn sport I ever seen in my entire life.
Oh, jeez.
It's almost as bad as, well, bass fishing.
Oh, Jesus.
Soccer. Oh God.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't watch soccer.
I can't watch either one of them. They're just worthless
the
sports.
Cardinals.
Stop.
Yeah, the Cardinals baseball is one of the worst I've ever watched.
I didn't do that.
Man, I'm glad you spent some time with us tonight, Luke. It was great having you on here.
Yeah, I'm going to go build a website now.
Well,
We will-
I appreciate you jumping in here and helping us out with your knowledge on information and stuff. And I want you and Tara to have a great time up at Mendota this year.
Yeah.
Actually, I got a question before you leave.
Mhm.
When I catch that 30, how do I need to measure them?
Mouth closed, tail down, pinched.
You can't catch a 30.
But you can't measure a 30-pounder.
When I catch that 30-pounder, I need to know how to measure it.
Well,
You got to weigh it
weigh it
on
first.
scales.
No, I'm talking about for my replica.
Oh, yeah, you're going to want to get a girth from the girthiest spot. It'll be usually right in front of the dorsal.
Right?
And then you're going to want to make sure you get pin it down with the head and then lay it, put your hand down it, slide your hand down it, and then push the tail down and point the tail back and get your length.
The best way to do is have a guy help you with that.
Yep.
That way
two
you get
people's
accurate
key.
measurement.
Yep.
But
Just call Luke.
realistically,
He'll come over.
your replica is not going to be exactly the girth and length of your fish anyways. So, I mean, as long as you're close. Can make a blue
sounds
look
better.
like a channel.
Welcome.
I just wonder if they can get, you know how those channel cats up there have those super long whiskers? I got to have those on there.
Yeah. My guy can do that for you.
I got a guy that lives next door to me that can do that for me.
Well, then let him do it,
I'm
Mark.
going to.
Be a lot closer.
You probably don't want to wait 2.5 years for my guy.
Though, if they're that busy, it's probably worth the wait.
There's no one better. There's a reason Jason Mitchell came to him to do his whole new office building in North Dakota.
Oh, nice.
Every mount he did for him.
Well, that is cool.
Yep.
That is cool. What else we got to close out with tonight, Mark?
Nothing really. Oh, I want to make sure that everybody knows that the Panfish Nation Tournament of Champions Day 1 has been moved to June 11th, Sunday, June 11th. So we're moving it to there. We will be in Mendota next week. I'll probably pop on Catfish Weekly. I don't think I'm having a show next Monday because we're going to probably have a little longer one, I'm guessing, Monday night. So we'll be a part of that. And then we'll probably be going live from there on Thursday, right, Lionel, for Panfish Nation?
I would say so, yes.
Sounds good.
We'll have a great time.
Also, don't forget to subscribe to Rods and Reloads.
There you go.
It's important.
And while you're at it, you go ahead and subscribe to Panfish Nation.
They're 100%.
Yeah.
Don't forget Mr. Channel Cat over at Catfish and Crappie.
That's right.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
The 29-pound Slayer. Wait till I'm the 30.
If I get a 29-pounder, I will not be disappointed.
Oh, hell, I guess not. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We'll see you next week on Panfish Nation.
Later, everybody.